Welcome back to the Broken Vinyl Podcast, guys. I'm here with a very special guest that we've waited a long time to get on here, but we finally got him. Now introducing T-Town's one and only, AM.
What up? What up? T-Town repping. You know what I mean? It's cool. I mean, we've been talking about trying to get together and get this fucking podcast episode going for a while, but I mean, I'm glad we're actually able to do it. And if you haven't noticed, it's a different scenery for this episode.
Good vibes too.
Nature vibes, summer vibes. Had to do it. It's not that hot back here, actually.
It's actually not that bad, especially under the shade. Thank God for the tree.
Yeah, dead ass, bro. No, man, but I've been seeing what you're doing, bro, and I like it. I think honestly, I feel like podcasting is like a great way to fucking just like vent to yourself and like vent like with others, bro, about like I feel like a lot of things that like people don't really talk about, or you know, like have like any like sort of like adrenaline to like engage in like topics of conversation, rather if they're relevant, you know, topics or irrelevant topics, you know. I feel like as long as you're able to like communicate and kind of like be able to say like, oh yeah, you know, have an input on things like that, I feel like podcast episodes are like way smoother, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
no, man, I've been seeing what you're doing, man, and I respect it. I mean, it's cooler because, you know, we're like family, you know what I mean? So it's like you know, that's what makes it a little bit more special about this episode too. You know, I've been seeing how you've been getting, you know, Maya and stuff like that. Shout out Maya. You know, shout out everybody else that's been on, you know, your podcast. You know, shout out you specifically. But no, bro, I'm fucking happy that we're finally able to get it going. It's been a while since I've done like a podcast episode. I think the last episode I did for a podcast was with my homie Galaxy Boy. And, yeah, and that's when I was on, you know, in the process of working on my Vulnerably Honest album. You know, and we were kind of being more consistent with shows. I mean, I know a lot of people who are probably going to be watching this are going to be, you know, looking for answers, you know, on like why myself and why I feel like a lot of the team have been kind of quiet, you know, except for David and Verbose. I will say David and Verbose, shout out David and Verbose.
They've been working.
They dropped a new album, Hitland, which is fire. So if you guys haven't checked it out, go check that out. It's definitely mad summer vibes, you know, if you're feeling on the lit side and everything like that. There ain't no fucking slow motion type shit like that in that. Nah, man, it's full go. It's full go on it. So I definitely encourage you guys to go fuck with that. I know a lot of the Mess Room Squad has been working too. I myself, you know, I've been working I have a few songs already, you know, like in the vault that I'm definitely going back and forth with on like what I want to do. Cause you know, I feel like I've been doing a lot of albums, you know what I mean? Not a lot, because I mean I've only dropped probably like three.
But to say you have 3 albums at this point in time in your career,
and honestly, I feel like a lot of people thought I was crazy by like just going straight to just dropping albums, you know, because I feel like a lot of artists, which I respect, you know, other artists and creatives' opinions, you know, because I've come across, you know, a lot of artists that, you know, where they're giving me, you know, my roses for you know, putting together an album like the ones I put together, you know, because a lot of artists and creatives would much rather prefer to just like be more I'm not like, nah, like I feel like an album is something for more when I'm more deeper into my career, have more of a built fan base and everything like that. And I respect it, but to me personally, I'm just like, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, as a creative artist, you're gonna do what your your heart desires, and so you kind of just follow that, you know. And it's nothing against people who don't believe in making albums at an early stage in your career, but it's because I feel like everything I put together has a storyline. You know what I mean? And I'm big on storylines.
Exactly.
If people can't tell already within the projects I put out, I'm very big on storyline. I feel like from like, when I say I'm big on it, I want to make sure that there's a story between the track list, there's a story to the cover art, story to the beat, story to the lyricism, flow, everything has a story, everything has a cadence in its own sense. So you know, I feel like a lot of people are kind of like like say like, oh, I want to put out another album, I feel like people are kind of at that stage where it's like, you know, like you've already put out albums, you know, things, and especially because I feel like people only see the skyrocket when it comes to the progress, you know, and music or anything creative, anything that's content.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people do kind of look at it as like, well, like you're dropping albums, but you're still in this same position. You're still doing shows at this place. You know what I mean? But it's just like at this point, personally, man, like I feel like at first, early on in my career, I feel like I was doing it for everybody because I feel like I had this expectation, especially because my career as an artist started like very young, and I was given a spotlight, which was obviously like, I mean, I don't know if you quite remember or you know, but like, you know, I was in 8th grade, you know, doing these karaoke Fridays to fucking performing at the end of the school year assembly in front of everybody.
I
you know
remember
what I mean?
hearing about it.
People would talk about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I feel like definitely like, if it was, because I mean, bro, like I love sports, I love watching, I love participating, you know, and you know, in school and everything, I participated. I wasn't good, you know what I mean? I didn't really have the skill that people probably would have expected, or you know, things like that. But honestly, bro, I love sports because I like the relationships I built off of it. You know, I just like how fun it was. You know what I mean? But I feel like music is definitely what created me. I feel like music is definitely what gave me my identity around, you know, here in Toppenish, and I feel like around in the valley too, because now it's like when people say Armando or anything like that, it's like Armando the rapper, you know. So I feel like definitely, bro, like I was all of this shit that I was persistent in doing, all these things that I was trying to please all these other people. I feel like it was just like, it was a lot of expectation, and I feel like it was a lot of pressure, you know what I mean? Because, you know, the support, they say, you know, well, if you have support, you know, because a lot of people do tell me, like, yo, like when I drop something and when I repost people's feedback, what people slide up and what they're saying when they share my shit, you know, they're like, you actually have people who consistently engage, rather if it's the same people or rather if it's someone different every time. And which it is true, man, because this is like, you know, I do notice that like one song, you know, if I drop a single, whatever, you know, these people who I've like never really like talked to or nothing like that, they'll be so engaged and they'll slide up on it, whatever. Somebody else, you know what I mean, that, you know, hasn't, it's always like different people majority of the time who like slide up on everything new that I drop. So it's like at the end of the day, I'm getting some sort of like, you know, feedback and everything like that. But I feel like a lot of the stuff I did prior to, you know, the new stuff that I put out after, you know, the Vulnerably Honest album, I feel like it was all kind of ran off of just basically like what I wanted, you know, and what I wanted to put out. You know, I feel like I was kind of tired of dealing with expectation, you know, because I feel like a lot of, especially because of how I had that spotlight at a young age, and especially with getting that help from the school, you know what I mean? Like I was getting, you know, asked to come talk to elementary kids, you know what I mean? I was getting pulled out of class to go talk to kids at the middle school, and I had a whole class where I had every period to myself, and I was like, you know what I mean, teaching music, things like that, and it was crazy, bro. It definitely was crazy for me to be doing, you know, for only being in high school, you know what I mean? And, you know, being able to, you know, get excused from class to do these things, you know? And I feel like I didn't know how to like exactly handle that.
Yeah, I didn't even know you got the chance to do all that stuff. Wow.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, I feel like a lot of people will be able to tell you. I feel like a lot of people will be able to tell you, and a lot of people like won't, because I mean, you know, there's the only people who know who are actually there to kind of witness it themselves. But yeah, man, and it was crazy. Like, you know, in 8th grade, when my principal, Mrs. Weddle, shout out Mrs. Weddle, because like she definitely like saw that spark in me, you know what I mean, that a lot of people have seen. And you know, I remember after that assembly when she was telling me, you know, like, oh, like I want to print out pictures of you, sit you on the middle school stage, set up a table, and have you sign autographs for everybody and everything like that, man. And it was
and your
crazy.
name wasn't even like out there. It was really just like
bro,
a
like
local
I was just like,
thing.
damn, you know what I mean? So it's like I was like, damn, you know, like I feel like I didn't know how to handle that, not in a bad way, but it's like I didn't understand the boost that was given me to my career. You know what I mean? And you know, like I said, all of that, it kind of came to where it's just like, damn, like me doing music was an expectation now, you know, because I was given that spotlight. I was given these opportunities, you know. So it's like, if you're given these opportunities, why aren't you gonna run with it? You know what I mean? So it's like it all came out of expectation, you know. And then also, you know, I ended up, you know, having my kids in the picture and everything, which, you know, it's not easy to keep pursuing your dream and having to handle your priorities.
Because usually you're just we're used to that idea of once we have kids, it's over.
Yeah,
like
bro.
the dream is no longer needing able to be chased.
Yeah, and I feel like once like everybody found out, given the certain circumstances I was under, with both of my kids, I feel like everybody kind of just looked at it as like, well, it's over now. You know what I mean? And I feel like ever since that, when I dropped something, everything was like, I elevated more and more and more. You know what I mean? Kept elevating. And I feel like a lot of times when I was like counted out, I counted myself back in. So, you know, reflecting on all of that, that's where it makes me feel like, you know what, like if I'm gonna do music and I'm gonna put anything out, it's gonna be for myself now. It's gonna be what I want, you know, people to hear. Because at the end of the day, what I'm gonna be saying in my music, you know, it's not gonna be bullshit. Like, it's not gonna, like I'll probably hop on, you know, party type songs, or I'll even put out party type songs myself, because, you know what I mean, I'll be feeling like, you know,
if you're on that
mood,
vibe,
you know what I mean, I'll be on that vibe too, you know what I mean, just because I'll be talking about, like, you know, love and, you know, like having kids and real life shit, like, doesn't mean that like I don't give myself the expectation to kind of experience the other side of that.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people expected too, because it's like, you know, not in a bad way, but it's like that was their connection to me.
Yeah.
That's what made them feel the connection and made them like those songs, and, you know, but definitely, bro, like anything from here on out, it's definitely gonna be just based off of what I want to put out, what I'm feeling in that moment, what I feel like is important for people to hear, you know, rather if it's bullshit or not, you know. At the end of the day, I'm trying to create a vibe, I'm trying to create, you know, something, you know, that people can go to, you know what I mean. I want to create music that people can go to when they're feeling the same thing that I'm feeling, you know. And I just feel like, you know, it's time to stop, you know, trying to meet other people's expectations, you know what I mean,
and what they want out of you.
Start meeting my own expectations.
Exactly.
So it's like, you know, definitely at this point, like, music is definitely not a priority to me, but it's definitely something I want to be persistent at, and it's definitely something I don't want to give up on. But it's not gonna be something that I'm gonna be like chasing and dying, you know, gonna lay my life out on it for, because, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, and I was having this conversation with my girl like a few weeks ago, you know, when I was telling her, you know, like I was starting to lose like motivation, you know, and she was trying to tell me like, you know, you can't lose motivation, like if you've gone to this, you know, this far with, because I mean, bro, like I feel like my girl really like saw like I could go somewhere with music, because, you know, she hears like about the stories, you know what I mean, of things that I've done. You know, there's been other people who would tell her like, oh yeah, like, you know, like Mondo, like when we did this show, you know, and everything, the crowd was like this, you know what I mean, like she hears these things, so, you know, she gets intrigued by it, and then like not trying to make her seem like this is the only reason why she got more interested, but bro, like, I mean, I make $100 off of my music now. $100 is $100, bro.
That's
to
great.
be able to say I make something off of music, and it's triple digit like that, like,
exactly,
it's a start, bro. I mean, I remember fucking a year ago, I was only getting like $30.
Yeah.
But that was still something, You know what I mean? After I dropped Vulnerably Honest, you know, that kind of changed a lot of people's perspective of how they looked at my music. You know what I mean? Because it was different. The production was definitely.
It truly felt like an album I would hear from people that have their names known around the world.
Yeah.
That was my perspective on it. I remember when I first heard it, I'll never forget, because I was so excited seeing that it came out early that I had to texted you. I was like,
oh yeah, I remember
that?
You're like, this shit's fired. I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, how?
I had to ask you permission. I was scared because I was like, I don't know if this is supposed to be out this early. So I texted you being like, hey, is it cool if I listen to this? And you're like, yeah, just don't tell nobody.
Yeah, bro. Dude. And then, bro, like, man, you weren't the only one. Then more people started like hitting me up saying, bro, this album, like I know you probably didn't know, but like I heard it and they're like, this shit's fire. I'm like, well, you know what? At least they liked it, you know?
Literally, when I heard it, I was like, this is everything you've done with your storytelling, your flows, your beat choices, your production. It's everything, but it felt professionally done. It felt masterfully done, man, and taken care of, and like there was so much time. I could feel the time and effort you put into it.
And like, bro. And a lot of people were even seeing that just by when I was going on my promo run, when I started posting these videos of, like, you know, my studio session, my you know, with Galaxy Boy, you know, when I started posting pictures and I was doing this run of teasing the album, a lot of people were catching on to it, and they're, you know, the snippets I was posting as it was, you know, people were already knowing, you know, and that album honestly did a lot for me, bro. Like, it honestly opened doors for me that I didn't even know was there, that were actually there all along, you know. And I definitely feel like I went out of my comfort zone on that one, because I feel like my focus was definitely trying to mash, you know, Welcome to the West, City of Murals, trying to mash those albums, and then even the collab album with Tony. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even trying to like mesh all that in one album, but make it vulnerable. You know what I mean? And that whole thing was based off of vulnerability. You know, it just was meant to like say like, hey, like no matter the vibe, you know, no matter what you feel on it, it's vulnerable. It comes off of vulnerability, you know, if you pay attention to the lyrics, you know, because there's shit on there where it's like, okay, it gets you jumpy, you know, you're jumping, you're like, okay, you know. And I just definitely was focused on trying to like perfect the mixture of those albums, combining them together, you know what I mean? Because I feel like Welcome to the West and City of Murals, they're two completely different albums.
Two completely different albums.
Because I feel like Welcome to the West was more on like the hip hop side, you know, boom bap type shit, and then City of Murals was more like on the auto-tune side, Juice WRLD, more up to date, you know what I mean, within that time. And then I already knew, like, okay, by the time when I started working on Vulnerably Honest, I already knew by the time I had it out, you know, music was already going to be evolved in a different way.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Because if you're an artist, if you're creative, you keep in touch to what's coming, you know what I mean, and things like that, which is obviously what the case is now. It's like drill music, you know what I mean, all that shit. Mainly drill. I want to say mainly drill, because that's what a lot of fucking artists are doing now.
Have you been trying to get into that?
I do. I definitely do, bro. I definitely want to, but I kind of want to find a way to develop my own cadence within that sound. So I do say, like, I will say, like, I am working on that.
I'm glad you say that about drill, because as much as I personally enjoy drill beats, it's always the same things. I feel like I'm always hearing the same things from different artists with drill beats. So to hear you say, like, you really are focusing on trying to still find yourself into these types of beats,
yeah, man.
I can truly appreciate that.
Because when I think about it, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna contribute myself to this sound, I wanna do it my way. You know, I wanna be able to. When I say that, to like where it's not only about how I come off on the flow of the song or whatever, I mean it to when it comes down to the drum kit of the beat, the sample of the beat, everything. Like everything, I want it to be unique within that sound. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to sample like R&B shit onto drill. You know what I mean?
That'd be tough.
Things like that.
Anytime I've heard that, it's
you know what
been
I'm
so
saying.
good.
You know what I'm saying, and like even fucking having R&B singers on a drill beat. You know what I mean? Things
I
like
love
that.
Yeah.
Those are things I definitely want to get into, and I definitely do see other artists who are trying to kind of get into that too. But obviously they're gonna be focusing on their own, developing their own formula. Me, I feel like I already have a formula. You know what I mean? When it comes to my rapping, I feel like my cadence and everything, it just automatically can mesh.
Yes.
With, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because I already have my formula built up.
You've been around for a while to the point where
yeah, man. I feel like
you have a bread and butter.
I have my own sauce already. You know,
Yeah.
to where it's like if somebody else were to rap, like I feel like somebody can be compared to me. You know what I mean? I've been compared to obviously like other artists, you know what I mean? Like big artists, you know? But one thing I will say is not out of cockiness, I've never been compared to anybody here in the Valley. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
I've never been told like, bro, you sound like this dude from this town, or you sound like this guy. No, like, that's one thing I can, you know, word to God say that like I've never been compared to anybody here in the Valley.
That's definitely what I appreciate about your sound is I don't hear anybody else sound like you. I don't hear anybody with the type of vulnerability you put into your lyrics, the amount of like feeling, because music is more than just a feeling. It's not like you can just see your lyrics and then just say it and then boom, you have a song. It's about speaking it. It's about preaching what you're saying and feeling that emotion coming out of your voice. And I definitely hear something unique out of yours whenever you're speaking about your truth in your music. That's
bro.
It's something truly special that I can definitely say like you're definitely one of my top artists up here locally. Like
hell yeah.
I'm always looking forward to your music.
Yeah,
dude.
man, and it's like and it's cool, man, because like I get respected, like, you know what I mean, by a lot of people, rather if it's like, you know, people who are into like the gang style of rap, whatever, bro, like, you know what I mean, if they hear my music, you know, they put respect on it, you know what I mean, and it's something that I'm grateful for. It's not something I say where it's like, hell yeah, like they respect me, you know what I mean, and I get cocky with it. Nah, it's something I'm grateful for, and it's something where when I say that, I mean it as in like it opens my eyes, you know, to say like, damn, you know what I mean, like you carry something, you know, with this music shit, you know what I mean. If you can get different styles of fucking, or different genres of people to fuck with you like that, like you carry something, you know what I mean. And I've definitely been working on getting into alternative as well. I'm definitely trying to get into that, as far as like having vocals, you know what I mean, put into my tracks, whatever, man. It's like it's all over the place, bro, like to where the ideas come from, the blue map of everything, bro. Like it's crazy, man. Like these sounds that I'm like getting myself into, bro, and it definitely surprises me like a lot, man. It surprises me a lot, but I definitely am working on different styles, but I do want to continue giving what a lot of my core fan base, you know what I mean, was developed on and what they were brought in, you know. So I would definitely want to keep the boom bap, you know, hip hop and the shit I've been doing. I still want to keep that intact, but I feel like my specialty with my tracks, I feel like a lot of people tell me my specialty is my track list, the way I put my tracks, the way
I can definitely say that,
the way I order my tracks and
I'd agree.
everything, because bro, like that's what's gotten me a lot of like a feedback. There's projects that I was helping work on. I would help out a little bit with the track list for Hitland. I didn't really do too much. I kind of just gave my input, things like that. But the fact that, you know, they were willing to hear me out and be interested in what I had to say meant a lot already as it is. Obviously, I helped work on Dre Still Poppin', 7K Chris, their collab album. I helped with their track list order. I'm gonna be helping Dave Certified with his upcoming album.
Awesome.
I mean, spoiler alert if nobody knew, but he's working on an album, and I'm gonna be executive producing it.
That's
so I'll
awesome.
be doing so that's something David's really big on, bro. Is he's like, man, I love how you put your track list together, the way you line up your songs, like it's definitely like it's perfect, you know. And he's like, I want you to help me with that shit. So it's cool, bro. You know, those are the type of doors and opportunities, you know, that I'm getting, and it's really cool because it's like it's cool to work on other people's shit besides your own.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, you're building something, and it's like the fact that you're being chosen and you're being trusted with something like that. It's definitely how should I say, not overwhelming, but it's like, you know, it gives you a really big excitement, you know what I mean, at least personally for me, just because I'm getting into that now. But I definitely am getting more into executive producing as well. So you'll be hearing a lot of projects probably that I'll be helping on and stuff like that. So I'm definitely getting more into working with for other artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I definitely want to focus on, just because it's like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be running with this music shit, you know what I mean? And I do know that, you know, if I get somewhere with it, and even if I don't, I know that I want to be able to manage artists. I want to be able to kind of show the doors, you know what I mean, when it comes to like contract negotiations, teach people, you know what I mean, about
because
like,
you know you have the knowledge
teach
now.
people about never taking the first offer on a deal, you know, knowing your worth, you know what I mean, things like that. I want to definitely show artists, so that way people aren't really getting fucked over and shit like that. Because bro, there's so much talent like in Toppenish.
There definitely
is. And then you know, the Valley alone, bro, like there's so much fucking talent, bro, like definitely so much talent.
But not enough knowledge to the game to where you
man, not only that, not only that, it's like, you know, there's a lot of talent that gets lost early, bro. You know what I mean? Rather if it's, you know, to, you know, just lack of accountability or motivation, or, you know, just passing away too early. Like there's this one kid that recently passed away from here in Toppenish. Him and his friends were gonna, I think, start a band.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
His name is Tony. Antonio. Rest in peace, you know, to that little kid right there, man. I saw a video of him singing, and when I heard his voice for the first time, bro, oh goddamn, bro, like that gave me chills, bro. It gave me chills, like knowing what happened, because I didn't see that video and hear his voice until everything happened with him, and like, you know, even though it's not my genre of music, I know talent.
You know the potential there, yeah.
I listen, just because I bump rap music and make, you know, rap and R&B music, don't mean I don't listen to all these other genres,
oh, yeah, definitely.
Man. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, a lot of things like that, man, and it sucks, bro, because it's like, that kid, I definitely could have had something, you know what I mean, like ahead of him, with the voice he had and everything. Like, it was great, bro. Like, it was great. And, you know, it sucks. You know, it sucks what happened. But, you know, God always has his plan, you know. And, you know, hopefully his homies can kind of carry out his legacy and do something, you know, in his spirit. But there's just so much talent here, bro, that people don't know how to take advantage of it, man. And they don't know the ropes, you know. And I really want to try to get people to understand, like, where their talent could take them, you know what I mean, and the doors it can open, bro, because I feel like me, you know, I learned from not taking those opportunities, or, you know, not taking them as serious, you know. So I definitely want it to be different, you know, for other artists around here, man, because, you know, people have to shine, bro. You know, it doesn't have to only be one person. It don't have to be one person. People got to shine. And I feel like if people, you know, stop working against each other and kind of work more with each other, there's a way higher chance, bro. But honestly, I feel like somebody, one of these days, it could be 2 days, 2 years, 2 decades from now, somebody's gonna fucking do something big out of here. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're gonna be on the top of the world, and their core fan base, you know, their heart is, you know, here. You know, I mean, not taking credit from people who are already doing that. You know, you have athletes who are already putting on for the Valley. You know, you have artists, you know what I mean, who are already putting on. You know what I mean, which is a fucking great thing. But I feel like there's more there's more people just like them who have that capability, you know what I mean, of being at those levels as well, you know what I mean. And I feel like the support just has to be more real, more genuine around here, you know
Honestly.
what I mean. Because it's like, you know, you can say you support somebody, but it's like at the end of the
really
day
doing?
like, did you hit the share button? Did you interact?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Did you even bother to listen? You know what I mean? It's little things like that, bro. Like, me personally, like, I don't give a fuck if you heard it or not, but if you shared it, fuck it, cool. You know what I mean? But it's like, with me, I feel like I'm always like sharing shit, bro. Like, no matter if it has to do with music or whatever, like, I'm showing love, bro. Like,
Yeah, for
regardless, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I want people to get somewhere with it. You know what I mean? I want to not only be me trying to, you know, change the game or, you know, make it to a certain standpoint. You know, I want to genuinely spread that love of saying like, fuck, you know, like, this guy don't owe me no share. You know what I mean? This guy don't even like this type of music, or he don't even make this type of music, or he don't even watch this type of stuff, but yet he shared it. He still showed love. And I feel like people are like insecure on showing love, bro, to be honest. Which is okay, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if it don't faze you, I mean, it don't faze you.
Exactly.
But, you know, there are a lot of people who are just like kind of too prideful. And I feel like somebody has to change that around here, you know? Somebody does. Somebody with a voice. Me, I feel like I'm the only person with a voice who's actually willing to speak on reality, you know what I mean? And things like that, bro. So it's like, trust me, bro, I have songs like about things going on around here. You know,
I heard.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I speak on it, bro.
Yeah.
I speak on it because, you know, I have that voice.
I remember hearing it. I was like, that's bold. That's a bold move.
I speak on things, bro, and it's like, you know, I have that voice, and all I know is that I just gotta make it obvious for the people, for them to understand and to really be like, you know. But, you know, there's songs that I hold back on putting out just because it's like, you know, I feel there are things that could be putting like my family's jobs at risk, you know, things
exactly.
like that. But just because I don't put nothing or say nothing about it, don't mean that I don't peep it, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So honestly, it's more real of like what I speak on now. It's more reality. Like, if there's something that's being said in there, it's because it's what I'm going through. It's something I actually experienced. It's real life.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, people aren't really genuine with what they say in their songs nowadays, you know. I can only think of a handful of people, you know what I mean? And those are artists that I'm like, and creators that I'm like super close to, you know.
Exactly.
But I feel like overall, bro, like, life in general with music, I mean, like, I'm definitely experiencing, you know, and I'm definitely gonna use that to kind of try to at least guide the younger youth and all these, you know, upcoming artists or athletes, things like that. I definitely want to be a voice, you know, on Toppenish. I feel like a lot of people probably don't think that I should be. You know, a lot of people probably think that like I shouldn't, you know, have the support that I have. But at the end of the day, I know I'm trying to do something positive with it, you know, and I think I will.
You definitely are.
At some point in time, I think I'll definitely have that big impact, like, on the town. You know what I mean? I feel like I had a big impact on my generation and my class, but I definitely want to have a big impact, like, on the town, like, itself. You know what I mean? Like, I want to change the perspective of how people look at rappers in the Valley, you know? I feel like now when people find out you're a rapper, you know, you're anything like that, you know, you get looked at a certain way, bro. Me and the Mess Room Squad, we've tried booking ourselves our own headline show right there in Moxie.
Yeah.
And the guy with the venue, he was totally down for it, bro. Totally down for it. So, you know, he was a white guy. He was totally down for it. Our Verbals was already giving him the deposit and everything. And then once the city council heard about it, it came to like there having to be a court date to get an appeal for it, things like that, just because it was a hip hop event. It was a rap hip hop event. You know what I mean? And that's
like
the
they
fact
didn't
that
even
none of us are gang related or nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we present ourselves good.